Hello once again, everybody. It's good to see everybody again. I hadn't been on here for a while. Had an opportunity this afternoon to sit down with one of the great ladies of Frisco City, Alabama, Miss Dorothy Sims. She shared with me at length about the Shiloh Primitive Baptist Church, the history of that church, her relatives and their involvement in that church for so many years. And I just hope that you enjoy this little documentary that I put together on this church from Miss Dot telling about her story. If you would, when you get to, smash that subscribe button on my channel. And if you would, make some comments on this video, and I'm going to post it up on my blog if you do that as well. Thank you so much.
In 1946, he grew up real fast, and he wanted to join the Confederate Army when he was real young, so they finally let him join. And as soon as he joined the Confederate Army, most of his time was spent as a prisoner on Ship Island, right out of Vicksburg, Mississippi. When they released him, he walked all the way from Vicksburg, Mississippi to Mexie, Alabama, where his family was. So when he grew up so fast, so he was into everything. But anyway, when he came back here, first thing he wanted to do was to get married. But the lady he wanted to marry was so young till he had to get special permission to marry her. But finally got permission to marry Sarah Ann Holt. Married to Sarah Ann Holt, and I believe they had about 8 children in that family. In the meantime, he had an urge to build a church. His buddies and started building on the Shiloh Primitive Baptist Church. He did that. He lost his first wife, though, when she was real young, but it didn't take him long to marry again. So he was busy as he could be, having children. He had about 8 or 9 more with his second wife. But he was a preacher that was loved, and they finally got the church built. And it was dedicated in 1848. I'll take that back. I'm sorry, 1878 is when it was dedicated. He was a pastor of it for a long time, till he was 91 years old, and he passed away when he was 91. But at one time, that church had at least 100 members, and was well known all over the part of the country as a really growing little church. Everybody loved him, Grandpa Bernie. Everybody loved Grandpa Bernie because he was such a lovable guy, and had such an experience in that war. When he came back, everybody wanted to tell him thank you that he survived that tour on Ship Island, because that was so bad for them there. But anyway, he came back and, like I say, and found his buddies and started building that church, and finally got it dedicated. And for years and years, it had so many members, had as many as 100 members. So it was a wonderful little church. All back in the 18th on through the 19th. It was I believe it was about 18 in the 1900, about 1980 when they had their last service out there. And when the last couple was getting old, like me, and they were not having a service out there anymore, they handed off all the records and everything to me, and I have all the records of the first meeting that they had, and I really am wondering what to do with it. As far as I know what to do with the records of that church. They're so old and they're in such a good shape. The guy that was his secretary had a beautiful handwriting. And the minutes are really better. I could do to preserve the minutes of that church out there. And that's about it. Grandpa Bernie was, oh mercy, he must have had, he had so many children. I think he finally had 17 or 18 children. Maybe more or less, I don't know exactly. But anybody loved him, everybody loved him. And it was a sad day when we lost him.
Tell me about the baptizing pool. The baptizing pool.
When you join that church and to be baptized, he would take you down, across the road and down through the woods. We had a baptizing pool I'd say about 200 yards down the hill from the church. And that's where they would be baptized, down the hill. And that's where the restroom was. They had no electricity, no restrooms, no water or anything during his time. It was in the 1960s before they got electricity and water. But they baptized him down the hill.
Sacred Heart singing.
Okay. Tell me about the Sacred Heart singing. Sacred Heart singing.
That in the last few years, having a Sacred Heart singing at the church in April. And that's amazing to see those old people singing, how happy they are when they're singing. And it's just a pleasure to sit there and watch them sing. And I suppose they're going to have it again this year in April, but I'm not sure of the date.
Okay.
They used to do that in the church. That's how they used to sing.
It's the Sacred Heart singing is the way that they sang in the church back when it was a church. The type music, everything associated with it.
It's Sacred Heart.
A-R-P, Sacred Heart.
Just voices.
This is do, re,
Just
mi.
voices, okay.
Acapella.
Acapella singing, okay.
They sing do, re, mi. The first stanza is do, re, mi. And then the second stanza is the real verse of the words of the verse.
Huh.
But it's amazing to see.
Shape notes.
Shape notes. Each note has a different shape, and they learn it. You go to singing school, and you learn what shape that note sound is. And when you see that note, you know the sound that goes with it.
Okay. I'd like to share a special thank you for Miss Dot Sims for taking her time out this afternoon to share her memories of her family and the Shiloh Primitive Baptist Church. It was an honor to be with her. I'd like to thank Miss Frida Tatum for helping me facilitate getting the things together to do this little interview. I'd like to thank Elizabeth Sims for helping us get the pictures and talking to us about all these memories of this church as well. It was an honor to do this video on Shiloh Primitive Baptist Church.